Yeah, it's been a lot this week. But just after listening to everything, talking everything out, and everybody, like, all of the opinions are welcome, man. Like, we don't know what's going to happen with these Warriors, and I get it. Like, I love, just speaking me, I love the emotion that everybody has put into this. The Warriors should feel great. Y'all see how much the Warriors and this particular era matters to people. We've spent the whole week talking about the Warriors without any Warriors games. And that's still where we are, because what they do next is massive, and all of the different opinions are welcome. Speaking for me, I shut down when any of the opinions call for one of the big three to not be on the team next year. I'm just like, no. And I mean that financially. I mean that for basketball reasons.
Emotionally.
I mean it emotionally. Yeah. I am not there. And oh, by the way, neither is Steve Kerr.
No, never crossed my mind. I mean, I played on those Bulls teams, the Last Dance, and I can tell you from experience, even though everybody now says, well, why didn't they keep that team together? That team was done. That team was finished emotionally, mentally. There was nothing left in the tank. And I don't feel that way about this team at all. I think these guys, Steph, Clay, Draymond, they've got lots to give for years to come. So I never even have stopped to give that a second thought.
Call me whatever you want. I am lockstep with Steve Kerr. Steph, Clay, Draymond, they've got lots to give for years to come.
Okay.
Lockstep.
Yeah. It's not up to you or Steve Kerr, which is pretty funny.
It's a little bit more up to Steve Kerr than it is to me.
It's actually not up to Steve Kerr. It's not up to Steve any more than it's up to you, because it's up to Draymond Green. Draymond Green has until late June to decide whether or not he wants to exercise his player option. And in advance of him exercising his player option, the team has the opportunity to offer him a contract. I don't think he can sign it until about that time either. And maybe this is all already set in stone, where they say, Draymond, we're going to give you 3 years and $170 million because, darn it, we love you so much. We love your technicals. We love your flagrants. We love your preseason right crosses. We love it all, Draymond. Here's $70 million a year because, darn it, we want you to stay. So maybe that's already set in stone. That's already done. But in terms of how I feel like the three of them will be back. I'm pretty sure 100% Steph will be back. I'm pretty sure 100% that Clay will be back. I'm pretty sure about 90% that Draymond will be back. We still have another 5 or 6 weeks to go until Draymond either picks up his option, declines his option, or gets a new deal. So between now and then, until I get a definitive name on paper, I'm still going to have a small sliver of doubt.
And I get that these are only words, but for context, if you do say it's up to Draymond, there is this.
We'll see what happens as far as my contract goes. Obviously, I have an opt-out. Everybody know about that. I know about that. I'm aware of that. But as I've told you guys for years, I want to be a Warrior for the rest of my life. I want to ride out with the same dudes I rode in with. And, I think we've put the work in to make that happen. Here we are, our worst season as a whole since 2014. And yet, we had a chance to make another run. So it's never as bad as it seems. It's never as good as it seems.
So you're right. Those are just words.
And he said, I want to be a Warrior.
He didn't have to say them, though, either. He didn't have to.
No.
Not everybody says that when they're asked that question.
But by saying it, he puts the pressure on the organization to make it happen, because he's telling the organization and the fans, I want to go in and I want to go out with the guys who I came in with. That's what I want. He didn't say, I'm going to be a Warrior for the rest of my career, which he could have said. He could have said, I'm going to be a Warrior next year.
But that's good because, in my opinion, because he knew what was being written simultaneously in The Athletic as he said that, which is that the Warriors have every interest in beginning work immediately on a 3-year extension for Draymond Green.
Right.
Yeah.
So, well, then he could have said that.
Wow.
He could have said, we're talking about what he could have said. He could have said, I'm going to be a Warrior next year, rest assured, whether it's me picking up my option or signing a deal we're doing the work right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a Warrior next year. He could have said that, but he didn't.
Yeah, there's work to be done. I don't argue that.
Yeah.
It's not done. But
Done.
if it's up to him, that's what he wants.
And if it's up to them, that's what's going to happen.
Sounds like it, yeah.
But then are they doing $470 million? Or I guess Dante comes off, which is $25 million.
Off.
So are we doing $445 million?
I don't believe so. I believe they're trading Jordan Poole.
Oh.
I believe they are trading Jordan Poole.
And I said 2 months ago that I didn't envision the two of them playing together again. So I'm kind of with you if that's the way this goes.
Nick in Berkeley, why don't you lead us off? Let's get to the phones. Are any of you ready for any of the big three to not be on the team? Nick, you're on with Willie and Dibby. What are you doing?
Getting ready to go coach my Albany High game against Sonoma Valley. We sit in the bottle packing for the year. Yeah, on Wednesday. So second round of NCS. But look, man, beat the drum for Andre Drummond. He's a free agent. He's a rebounding beast. Go get him, and then trade Poole to his hometown in Milwaukee. They got some grinders over there for us. And then lock it down, baby. You know what I'm saying? Keep the big three, and that's how we roll. Go Dubs.
Nick, thanks,
Dude,
man.
softball. It's a softball matchup. It's 5 o'clock. You need to get over there.
This weekend, there are a lot of, and I heard Shasky on the Shameless Shoutouts today, shouting out everybody working on Little League teams as they head into playoffs. That's right, 2:30 tomorrow. The KC Monarchs are going to go into battle. They got the 4 seed. We'll be playing the 5 seed tomorrow. So we are one of those Little League teams. So yeah, a lot of playoffs going on. Hope everybody has fun with that this weekend. He mentioned Andre Drummond. Look, there's going to be pieces that the Warriors add. There's never an offseason where there isn't some addition and some subtraction. I continue to be fascinated about what the Warriors can do on the front line, because everyone points to that. They've actually been pointing that even during the championship year. Need a big man, need a big man, need a big man. What exactly are you going to do with the big man? I feel like whoever those big men are or big man, I feel like it's got to be a bench piece. Right? Like, to me, Looney and Draymond are starters on this team. And whatever you bring in outside of that needs to be for depth, for bench minutes, and whatnot. I don't think you can add another non-shooter into this picture and to become a bigger team.
Right. I think you do need a big man, but you probably need somebody in more of the Festus Ezeli, JaVale McGee role, a guy who you can go in there and play 12 to 15 minutes at times in certain matchups. I don't think you need a big man like most people think they need a big man. Like, you need a big man to go out there and play 30 minutes a night, start, and be your big man as a part of your 5. I think you're right about that. The best 5-man team in the association this year, we all know, was Kevon, Dre, Steph Clay, and Andrew Wiggins. I don't know how much time the 5 of them actually played together because Andrew was out and all the rest of it, but you like to go small. You like to use Draymond at the 5. That's your biggest advantage in terms of both ends of the floor. So I agree with you about the big man. However, if you're looking at a 5-man, 6-man bench throughout the course of the regular season, you do need some size. And you need a guy who, in a situation like you had against the Lakers, and if you would have faced Denver, or if you're going up against, I don't know, New Orleans and the size they have, it would be nice to have that punch to throw in a series.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just at the top of our mind because of what just happened with the Lakers, and there was so much about size, and size matters.
Thank you, Fitz.
Yeah, there you go. Bill in Marin, you're next up here on Willard and Dibs. Hey, Bill, what are you doing?
Size matters.
Thank you.
Hey, I just had some thoughts about Jordan Poole, and I think people who are willing to get him out of town don't remember Ian Clark and Quinn Cook. I mean, I think in some ways when you're saying if we lose Draymond, that's the first thing we'd want. I mean, one of the things to realize is we had stretches without Steph where we were winning games, and a big part of that was Jordan. And last year we had a huge stretch without Clay, and we were winning games, and a huge part of that was Jordan Poole. And so I think part of it is that he's better starting, and eventually he'll be starting. I think we get rid of Poole, he starts for someone else, and he blows up. And he's just great, he's confident, he knows his place. And I, for one, don't want that. When you say we got to keep the 3, I think we got to keep the 6.
Well,
because I want
So
I want Looney, I want Wiggins, and I want Poole. And I don't know. I mean, I when I heard people on him on Twitter, I just thought of Ben Simmons. Don't do it to this guy. Don't get in his head like that. He's had such a great attitude, and he's such a spark plug. And we just had nobody when Steph or Clay was out. You know, even our championship years, nobody liked Poole. And I think his stock is low now, but I wouldn't sell. I mean, I'd keep this guy.
Yeah, Bill, what you're saying is definitely possible because, as I've said, I think they explore the idea of a trade, but they don't give him away for nothing. I don't think that at all. But I also think you're maybe overstating a couple of things. One, when you say, boy, his attitude has just been great. Well, he did drive everybody nuts. I don't think he had a bad attitude per se. I do think that he is a little bit of a malcontent with the situation. I think he wants to start. And I remember, let's go back a year ago, and I sat here and I said, I don't know if Jordan Poole wants to be with the Warriors, because if you sign on the dotted line for the Warriors right now, you're signing up to essentially be a bench player behind Steph for at least a few more years.
Your whole contract, basically.
Right, and I don't know if he's going to want to do that. Now, he did because you sign that guaranteed money when it's in front of you, but I have no idea if Jordan even wants to be on the Warriors because the starting role is not available right now. So I guess I wouldn't call that a bad attitude, but it's not perfect for the locker room. He's not happy. He wants to start. He thinks he should be getting more opportunity. This is all well documented now.
It's more than just starting, because he did start half the games that he played this year or more, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at his stats, and he played in all 82, and I think he started 50-something games. He started a bunch of games based on, Clay was out and Steph missed about 20-something games. So those are times when Jordan can start. So I think it goes to more than just Jordan wants to start. I think Jordan wants to cook, and he wants to be able to cook whatever meal he wants to cook. And the way this team works, when Steph and Clay are both on the floor, Jordan, we don't want you to try to shoot the ball 24 times a game. We want you to play a role as the third guard on our team, and I don't think that Jordan Poole necessarily wants to be that player. He started 43 of 82, by the way, so half the time. So, yeah, I'm sure he wants to start all 82. He sees himself as a guy who is a starter in this league, and yet you're behind Steph and you're behind Clay, and you're going to start. Now you're on the bench. Now we want you to shoot a little bit. Now we need you to shoot a bunch. That sort of on-again, off-again role, I don't think jibes with the way he wants to play.
I think you also have to be careful, because what also came out in that conversation was the idea if Jordan goes somewhere else, he's really going to flourish. I think you got to be ready to potentially bite that bullet. If that happens, you got to be okay with it. Because if you're sitting here literally saying he can't do it here, he can do it somewhere else, well, then let him do it somewhere else. Because if he can't do it here, it doesn't matter. If he's not a fit, then you're going to have to figure something out that is. And if that leads to him being amazing somewhere else, I'm okay with it. I'm not rooting against Jordan Poole.
Right.
But it only matters if he can really pop here. And if he can't pop here, I'm willing to deal with it if he pops somewhere else.
I wonder what that looks like, though, when people talk about Jordan Poole flourishing elsewhere. What does that mean? Does that mean he averages 26 a night for a team that's not very good?
What if it's 26 a night for a team that does become good?
Well, that's flourishing.
Yeah.
So, and, we can talk about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He flourished in Oklahoma City, and I believe they were the 10 seed,
yeah,
or
they were one of
they
nine,
would play
9 or
in
10.
and they didn't make it out, and he's an amazing player, and he flourished. What if Jordan Poole went on to be Trae Young or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a guy who could really flourish individually, but his team is not very good? Do the Warriors look at that and say, boy, we missed out? Because you made a great point, Mark, at first one of the week. If he's here, can he flourish? Because flourishing for the Warriors is what he did last year, where in the playoffs, he averaged about 15 a night. He was a key piece off the bench, and you won a championship. That's flourishing here.